My ex-wife laughed the second she saw me. I was standing on the sidewalk outside the open house, my son's hand in mine, wearing the same jacket I'd worn for 3 winters. The cuffs were worn thin. I knew it. She knew it. And she made sure everyone within 20 feet knew it too. "Be honest, Daniel," she said, loud enough for the realtor and the couple beside her to turn their heads. "You're here to clean it, right? Not to buy it." Her 2 friends covered their mouths and giggled. I didn't say anything. I just tightened my grip on my son's hand a little, the way you do when you want a kid to know you've got him, even when the floor feels like it's tilting. Caleb is 7. Old enough to understand a laugh aimed at his father. He looked up at me, and I saw it land on his face, that small, confused hurt. That was the part that stung. Not her words, just his face. "Some men," Vanessa said, turning back to her friends, "just never amount to anything." Behind her stood Marcus, new husband. Tailored coat, expensive watch, the kind of confident smile a man wears when he's never once had to choose between the electric bill and his kid's shoes. He didn't laugh. But he didn't stop her either. Let me back up, because none of this makes sense without the years that came before it. When Vanessa left, she didn't just leave me. She left a story about me. The story was that I was small, that I'd peaked, that I'd settled, that I was the kind of man you outgrow. She told it to her friends, to her family, eventually to our son in little pieces. "Your dad tries, your dad means well," said in that soft, pitying voice that's somehow worse than shouting, and I let her tell it. I drove the same 14-year-old sedan with the rattling door. I rented a small 2-bedroom near Caleb's school. I packed his lunch every morning and learned to braid nothing because he's a boy. But I learned to do the little bandages, the bedtime questions, the science fair volcano at 11 at night. I worked. I came home. I didn't date. I didn't complain. People saw the car and the jacket and they filled in the rest. Struggling single dad, I never corrected them. Here's the thing nobody knew. 11 years ago, before Caleb, before the marriage went cold, my grandfather died and left me something. Not money. A house. An old, run-down property on Linden Street that everyone in the family had written off as a money pit. Vanessa hated it. "It's a tear down," she said. "Sell it. Take the cash." She wanted the cash for a vacation. I didn't sell it. Instead, over the years, quietly, on weekends, with my own 2 hands and every spare dollar I didn't spend on myself, I fixed it. New roof. New foundation work. I learned plumbing from videos. I refinished the floors at midnight after Caleb was asleep, and when I had a little more, I bought the empty lot beside it. Then, 2 years ago, when the corner property went into foreclosure, I'd bought that too, because Linden Street was changing. The whole neighborhood was. And I'd been watching it happen for a decade, while everyone watched me drive my rattling car. So no, I wasn't struggling the way she thought. I was just quiet. There's a difference, and most people never learn it, which brings us back to the open house, because the property she'd been begging Marcus to buy for months, the one she'd circled in a magazine, the one she'd shown her friends like a trophy she hadn't won yet, was on Linden Street. It was the corner property, the one I bought out of foreclosure 2 years ago. I hadn't planned to be there that day. Caleb wanted ice cream from the place on the corner, and the open house was just happening on the lawn of a building I'd quietly handed to a property manager to list. I'd come to check on something completely unrelated, and there she was. "Are you lost?" Vanessa asked, smiling that smile. "The bus stop's back that way." Her friends laughed again. Caleb didn't move. He pressed closer to my leg, and something in me went very, very calm. "He's fine where he is," I said. First words I'd spoken. "Quiet." Vanessa's eyebrows went up. He speaks." She turned to the couple beside her, performing now. "This is my ex. He cleans up nicely on a good day." She looked at the house, my house, with naked want in her eyes. "Marcus is buying me this place. Can you imagine? It's everything. Some of us," she added, glancing at me, "land on our feet." I should have just walked away. I almost did. For Caleb, I almost did. Then Pryor the realtor stepped forward with her clipboard, looking flustered, trying to be professional and move things along. "So sorry to interrupt. Before we go in, I just need a quick signature for access." She flipped a page. I have to confirm with the owner's representative. Mister, she scanned the sheet. The listing is held under the owner directly, so any offers go through him personally. He's actually local. I was told he might even stop by today. Vanessa lit up. All the owners coming? Good. Marcus, you can negotiate face to face. She practically purred. What's his name? Is he the type who'll come down on price? Priya looked at her clipboard. Then she looked up. Then she looked at me, and the colour drained out of her face in a way I'll never forget. That slow realization, like a word she'd been trying to remember suddenly arriving all at once. Mister, she started very carefully. Are you Daniel? Vanessa's smile flickered. Why does the owner's realtor know his name? She said, laughing, but the laugh came out thinner than the ones before it. That's a coincidence. Lots of Daniels. Priya didn't answer her. She was staring at me, clipboard half-lowered, waiting, and for the first time in 11 years, I watched Vanessa's certainty start to crack right down the middle. That flicker behind the eyes when a person senses the ground isn't where they thought it was, but can't yet admit it. What's going on? Marcus asked, looking between us. Vanessa forced the smile back. Nothing. He's nobody. Priya, can we please just... Ma'am, Priya said softly, almost apologetically, glancing down at the deed on her clipboard, and then back up at the man in the worn-out jacket holding his son's hand. I think you should know who you're talking to before you make an offer. For a moment, nobody on that lawn said anything. Priya held the clipboard against her chest like it was suddenly heavier than paper. Marcus looked at his wife, then at me, then at the realtor, trying to do the math on a problem he didn't even know existed 30 seconds ago, and Vanessa laughed. One more time. But this one had no bottom to it. Okay, this is ridiculous, she said. Daniel doesn't own anything. He rents an apartment the size of a shoebox. He drives a car that sounds like it's dying. Tell them, Daniel, tell them you're not the owner. She said it like an order. Like she's still got to give me those. I looked at her for a long second. Then I crouched down to Caleb's level, brushed his hair back, and said quietly, Hey, bud. Why don't you go sit on the porch swing? The blue one. I'll be right there. Caleb looked at the porch of the corner house. The house, uncertain. Can I? You can, I said. It's okay, go ahead. He let go of my hand and ran up the walk, past Vanessa, past Marcus, and climbed onto the swing on the porch of the house his mother had been begging to be bought. He started swinging like he'd done it 100 times, because on Sundays he had. Vanessa's face did something complicated. I stood back up. I turned to Priya. Go ahead, I said. It's fine. Priya exhaled. Mr. Hale is the owner of record, she said, to Marcus, to the couple, to everyone. He owns this property outright, and the lot beside it, and the greenhouse across the street. She gave a small, helpless shrug. There's no negotiation through a third party. Any offer would go to him. Directly. Silence. Then Marcus, slowly, Wait, Hale? He turned to Vanessa. Isn't that's your old married name. That's his name. It's a common name, Vanessa said, but her voice had gone strange and high. Vanessa. Marcus's tone changed. Something cooled in it. Is this your ex-husband's house? She didn't answer. She couldn't. She was staring at me like she'd never actually seen me before, and maybe she hadn't. I didn't gloat. I want to be clear about that, because I'd imagined this moment more times than I'd like to admit, lying awake over the years, and in every version I'd pictured myself saying something cutting, something that would land like a slap. but standing there watching my son swing on a porch in the late afternoon light, none of those lines felt worth saying. "I didn't come here to embarrass you," I said. "I came to check on a leaking gutter and get my kids some ice cream. You started this on your own." "You let me," Vanessa snapped. "You stood there and let me." She stopped, because finishing that sentence meant admitting what she'd been doing. "Yeah," I said. "I did. The same way I let you tell everyone I was a failure for 11 years. I shrugged. It was easier. People believe what they want to believe about a man in an old jacket. I stopped trying to fix it a long time ago. Marcus had taken a step back from her now. Not dramatically. Just enough. The couple who'd come to see the house were quietly drifting toward their car, the way people do when they realize they've wandered into something private. "You could have told me," Vanessa said, and for the first time there was something real under it. Not anger, something closer to grief. "All those years we could have had." "Had what?" I asked. "Not cruel, just tired. You didn't want this when it was a tear down my grandfather left me. You called it a money pit. You wanted me to sell it and take you to Cancun." I glanced at the house, the roof I'd put on, the floors I'd sanded at midnight, the porch where my son was swinging. "I didn't build this so you'd want me. I built it so he'd always have somewhere to land." Vanessa followed my eyes to Caleb, and whatever she saw there, her son, comfortable and safe on a porch she'd been told she couldn't have, in a home she'd written off as beneath us both, finally closed her mouth. Marcus cleared his throat. "I think," he said carefully, "we should go." "Marcus," she started. "We'll talk in the car." He was already turning, and I understood, watching him, that the thing he was recalculating wasn't the house, it was her. He'd been told a story too. My ex never amounted to anything. He'd believed it because it was flattering. It made him the upgrade, the better man, the rescue. And now the story had a hole in it, the size of a corner lot on Linden Street, and he was wondering what else in the story might be hollow. That was her real loss that afternoon, not the house. The story. Friends had gone quiet. One of them mumbled something about getting going. The performance had no audience left. Vanessa lingered a moment longer. "Is this where you wanted me to end up?" she asked. "Humiliated, in front of everyone." I thought about it honestly. "No," I said. "I didn't think about you ending up anywhere. That's kind of the point. You spent years building your life around being better than me. I spent them building a roof." I nodded toward the porch. "One of those things keeps the rest." She gave a weak laugh. Do you still want me to list it?" I looked at the house, the blue swing, my son's sneakers kicking against the porch rail. "No," I said. "Take it off the market. I think we're going to keep this one." I walked up the path and sat down on the swing next to Caleb. The chains creaked under our weight. The light was going gold over the rooftops the way it does in early evening, and for a while we just swung, his shoulder against my arm. "Dad," he said finally. "Is Mum mad?" "A little," I said. "But not at you. Never at you." He thought about that. Kids always think harder than we give them credit for. "Is everything okay now?" he asked. "Really okay." I put my arm around him. Below us, the street I'd watched change for 10 years was quiet and warm, and ours, the house at my back, was solid, every beam of it